Welcome to day 10 of this month of tarot, and today we are going to be exploring our intuition. So many of you may feel somewhat connected to your intuition, perhaps deeply, and others of you might be thinking, well, what is that and how do I go about connecting to it? Well, intuition for me is a form of personal understanding, a kind of connection with the external world that meets us internally. So that sounds kind of magic, doesn't it? I believe that for many, many, many centuries, millennia now, we have explored the world through words, through logic, through the brain, through writing, and through a collective understanding of what we all agree is going on. However, intuition is something deeper than that. Something is really hard actually to explain when we get down to the nitty-gritty. It's those inner knowings that I am sure everybody here has experienced. Those inner knowings that something's going to go wrong, something's going to go right, somebody is a good person, somebody's a bit dodgy. And we are always proven to be right on those intuitions, and often we might regret not having listened to them or be glad that we did. And then we just, I don't know, put it down to that was an interesting coincidence, or how fascinating that I knew that about that person. It was a gut instinct. There was something about them, or there was something about that situation, or something just felt off, or I just knew they were going to call. Or isn't it weird that I connected with this person who I've not seen for 20 years and I thought of them a few days before they appeared in the supermarket. There's so many ways that intuition can play out. You're driving home from work and you think there's something, just a feeling and knowing that maybe you won't go that way because there's a traffic jam and it's going to take ages to go home, but you overrule it and you go that way anyway, and then you get stuck in traffic for like 2 hours. There are so many ways that intuition arises, but what I would say is I think sometimes the language around intuition is confusing. So often we hear the phrase listen to your intuition. Intuition is not like the advice you get from your brain. So your brain will speak to you in words. Do this, don't do this. What am I having for dinner? Which way shall I walk? Do I like A or do I like B? How do I figure out this problem? The brain is a logical tool, and it's very, very useful, but it can be listened to. Intuition is not so much wordage. It's not so much a voice in your head. It's more of a feeling, an understanding, a kind of passing something. So, the person that you thought of that then you met that you haven't seen for 20 years, perhaps they arose in a way that was almost unconscious. You didn't even clock yourself thinking about them. And it's only when you meet them a few days later that you realise you kind of had that feeling or thought about them, or that on a really lower level, not consciously, they'd sprung into your mind, into your heart, into your soul, and you'd somehow connected. Same with the day-to-day stuff, like the good feelings and the bad feelings. They have a form of words within your mind, but it's almost like those words are connecting with what comes first, and what comes first is a feeling. So I think it's more helpful to feel your intuition or trust your intuition, because it's really hard to pinpoint intuition, and sometimes when you're new to it you don't even know it's happened until after the fact. So you have a feeling about someone, but you're so quick to slap it down that it's only after you realise what a great person they are or what a dangerous person they are that you think, oh, I knew that. How did I know that? Where did that come from? And the only way to continue to explore that intuition and to make it really work for you, to make it stronger, is to start feeling it, is to start accessing it, is to start acknowledging it and being with it and affirming it and accepting it. Easier said than done. But what I would like you to do as a practice for your intuition is, firstly, have a think about times in your life you've had a really clear, stark, intuitive knowing? What were they? Can you tell us in the comments below whether they were about something exciting or something big or something so minor that, you know, you kind of want to brush it away, but it definitely happened? How has intuition shown up for you? I think in acknowledging the ways it has arisen in the past is a really great way to start to catalyze an understanding of it moving forward. And so secondly, moving forward, I want you to start feeling into it. I want you to start being aware of these little tickles and nudges and knowings that do bubble up. And rather than just pushing them back down or saying don't be silly or letting your logical mind think over them, as it will try to do, try to keep hold of them. And you know what, even if you can't keep hold of them, even if your logical mind thinks over them, and then you end up thinking, I wish I'd listened to my intuition, that in itself is evidence. So then acknowledge that and think, darn it, next time I will really feel it. I will really obey it. I will really be with that intuition. And the use of tarot cards will make this easier because it opens a magical doorway, opens a portal into the mystical, and it really expands your experience of the world, the universe. You know, the cards are uncanny. Every single day they're uncanny. And that in itself is like a daily portal into something incredibly empowering and beautiful. And in turn, intuition and you know, round and around, the intuition is also found within using the cards. So the two things play off against one another and get bigger and bigger, and you expand and you grow, and your understandings of the cards grow, and your intuition grows. So tomorrow we'll be doing a meditation to help us connect with our intuition. So what I want you to do for today is firstly, list in the comments a couple of times when you have listened to have felt, this is so insipid, this language, have felt your intuition and either obeyed it or not obeyed it, or, you know, wished you had. So list those for us. Let's hear your examples. Make them public. I think in making them public, it's a bit like coming out of the spiritual closet, and we can affirm those for you. And secondly, from this day onwards, you pledge to start to try to acknowledge intuitions as they arise throughout your day. Maybe take some time at the end of the day to think, what was I intuitively feeling today? Or at the beginning of the day, how do I feel about my day ahead? Do I have a good feeling? Do I have a bad feeling? Indifferent? Is it going to be a kind of blasé nothing day? Or I feel a bit excited? Is something good going to happen? Maybe I feel a bit nervous and anxious, and perhaps that is evidence that something a bit untoward is going to happen today. So tomorrow we will be going deeply and diving into a beautiful meditation about that. Now I'm going to go talk to my dog about his behaviour while I'm recording. Thank you. Bye.